Okay, well, I am calling you up to talk about Super Bowl advertising. They let us know that you'd be available for that, so I
Great.
think that'd be great. Now, I see first thing up here is you can talk about social media, and I assume this is getting people prepared for the Super Bowl ads. Can you tell me a little bit about what's been popping up recently as with, I guess, Facebook or whatever else might be?
Sure, Matt. So basically what they've been doing this year, which is a little bit different from the past few years. Now, ratings-wise, it's always a home run with what the record last year was 111 million viewers. So they expect to even top that this time with that great matchup with the Giants and the Patriots. But what they're really trying to leverage is adding on to that a huge, massive crowd of viewers who will interactively engage with the game through what is called second screen advertising. So what they're trying to do is get some of these companies trying to use the spots just as a foot in the door, but really where they're getting most of their mileage is through social media, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. And what they're doing is, for example, let me give you a couple of quick examples. I mean, the Chevy Game Time app, you download it, and then you can actually interact with the game, and you would actually answer questions or respond to trivia questions, poll questions, and you could also get your friends to download, so where you could all be connected through the app, no matter where you are in the world, and be watching the game. And you could win prizes such as pizzas, NFL store gift cards, music, and actually cars. For example, everyone who downloaded that app got a license plate. And that license plate, if you see that plate on any of the cars that are featured in the Chevy spots during the game, you actually win that car. So they're trying to make it really engaging and interactive. The other really good example is Coca-Cola. What they're doing is they're going to have the two polar bears, one wearing the blue scarf and the other wearing the red scarf for the Patriots and the Giants, and they'll actually be watching the game with us, the viewers. So you basically download an app, CokePolarBear.com, and you can actually watch the game with the polar bear sitting somewhere in North Pole ice cap and actually be responding and reacting in real time along with you. So when the Patriots score a touchdown, the Giants bear will be, depressed and maybe closing his eyes or throwing a tantrum. And and not just that, they'll actually also be responding in real time to the commercials, if that makes sense. So, for example, when the Pepsi commercial is going to be shown, the Coke polar bears apparently, so I'm told, are going to go to sleep. So really, it's going to be very interactive, and they actually have puppeteers that'll be controlling the emotions and the actions and the celebrations of the polar bears during the game in real time. And all this is to engage people into what's called second screen advertising, which is pretty new, and this year they're really trying to leverage that. And the second screen being your iPad, your iPhone, your laptop. In fact, statistics are showing that up to 60% of the viewers this year will actually be engaging in the Super Bowl through a second screen. So that's a massive market. If you do the math of, let's say, estimated 115 million viewers, if you take 60% of that, you actually have, as an advertiser, access to 60% of those viewers, millions of viewers, through this viral buzz marketing campaign leveraging social media, YouTube, etc.
So this would be sort of the example that pops to mind are those notorious GoDaddy commercials. This is sort of a step further than that, where they always directed you to the website once the commercial was done, saying, "Oh, there's more there." So this is more an interactive, something to do during the commercial, or beyond that.
That's very perceptive. What GoDaddy.com did that in 2005 is the one that you're referring to, which was the groundbreaking at that time, groundbreaking technique of getting people to go to the website by taunting, teasing, and titillating them to go to the website. to see more, and then they've continued with their Danny Got Patrick uncovered and revealed and so on and so forth to the GoDaddy.com girls. But where it's being taken one step beyond that even is now the Chevys and the Coca-Colas, and for that matter, Frito-Lays, I just give you a couple of examples, but Kia and Volkswagen, what they're doing is they're actually getting you to interact and engage not only during the game, but before the game and after the game. The GoDaddy.com, what they were doing is getting you to interact to the limited extent of going to their website, which, by the way, worked absolutely fantastically. It's been a bonanza for them, and that's why they keep doing it. But these are taking it one step beyond, because now you can actually download apps. Now, GoDaddy.com never really got you to download apps. Now, the moment they get you to download apps, Matt, see what happens now is they also have database marketing working for them. They have your data, they have your information, and that takes it to a whole new level in terms of getting a foot into the minds and consciousness and, in fact, the homes and the credit cards of the customers.
And that's something that'll live on your phone potentially longer than the game.
You got it. It will. In fact, the download stays, and not just that, the data they get from you stays in their database about your specs. And remember, for example, the Chevy Game Time app, when you're responding and engaging and interacting, you're answering questions about, I don't know, what's your favorite car, what's your favorite, et cetera, what's your favorite player, team. So really, that's a huge database. It's a goldmine of database they've got on millions of viewers that they can then leverage and use for marketing throughout the upcoming year and years, which is it's a stroke of genius if you think about it. And that 3.5 million, which is a staggering amount that they have to pay for the 30-second spot, is really, if you think about it, which most people don't, they say, well, 3.5 million, I mean, that's ridiculous, that's exorbitant, that's almost obscene, the amount they're spending. But that's just a foot in the door to so much more nowadays with these kinds of apps and social media that I'm talking about.
And do you foresee, once they have this on your phone or on your iPad or computer, obviously the big push is for the Super Bowl and something like the polar bears, like you were explaining, that's not something that they're going to keep up, every day. But do you expect them to use this type of advertising more frequently now that they have it out there?
Absolutely. And that is a trend now. The mobile and the digital advertising, it's a much less expensive way of advertising than mass media advertising. Not to say that mass media is going anywhere soon by any stretch of the imagination, but that's where it's trending. This is easier. This is cheaper. This is more direct and targeted. And plus, and here's the real big plus is it's more measurable, right? So, and that's why this is it's the beginning, and it's definitely I think the sort of opening the door to a vast new world of advertising through digital, mobile, and social media.
Speaking of easier and cheaper, another thing that I first noticed last year, a friend of mine actually took part, is the Doritos Make Your Own
Crash
commercial.
The Super Bowl campaign.
Yeah, this sort of
Absolutely.
the crowdsourced commercial. I believe I heard they were doing that again, or is somebody else doing that? Is that something that is going to become more frequent?
That is going to become more frequent, Matt. In fact, Doritos pioneered that about 5 years ago, and they've actually they got so lucky with that. I mean, of course, smarts is for sure. I mean, there was brilliant marketing decision, but they also got serendipitously lucky because their crowdsourced and user-sourced ads started beating the multi-million-dollar commercials from Madison Avenue. So they were paying like $20 for a commercial that was beating out a $1.5 million commercial from Madison Avenue, which they didn't expect, but it was an added bonus to already what was a great idea on their part in terms of generating so much buzz and hype for weeks leading up to the Super Bowl. So yes, they have not only pioneered it, they're here to stay. They're doing it this year. There are 5 finalists. If you go to their Crash the Super Bowl website, they've already got close to 1 million votes, or I think it was, as of yesterday, it was close to 600,000, 700,000 votes. votes. So the top two, I'm told, top two vote getters just before the Super Bowl will vote getters at that time will have the honor of being aired during those $3.5 million spots. And if they happen to be the winners in the USA Today ad meter polls, which will come out on Wednesday morning, they would get a bonus of $1 million as well. And that is the thing of the future now, and the present, I should say, because Chevy, I don't know if you're aware of that or not, but I expect that to be one of the big, at least I think, one of the top 10 commercials on Sunday is also a crowdsourced one. And they're using a spot. You might want to go and check it out if you have the time. It's called Chevy Happy Grad, and that actually was also developed by users. And so, in other words, it's going to happen more and more like this. Chevy's actually going to do that, or is doing that this year with a Happy Grad. They had entries submitted from 32 countries with 400 scripts, and I'm told 200 films were submitted to Chevy, and the winner is going to be shown, and it's called the Happy Grad. And the other thing I should quickly add, Matt, is that, interestingly, what they're doing nowadays is, if you notice, they're posting these commercials online as teasers or sneak previews the week before the Super Bowl, therefore generating millions of hits through social media even before they fork out the $3.5 million for the actual game time commercial.
I have noticed. I have noticed a lot of that, especially for things like I've been seeing it on. Now I follow. I like films, so I follow a lot of movie news, and I see that like they are they are releasing teasers for their teaser trailer or whatever they're showing. This like this coming up in the Super Bowl, and they'll show you a through quick, and that's something that I haven't necessarily noticed. And I will say that crowdsource thing is very powerful. I know, like I said last year, a friend of mine participated, and I was just. I of course voted for his, but it didn't win. But
hey, but listen, they got you to go to the website.
They did.
Didn't they?
They did. That's what I was going to say. I got there. I looked. They had hundreds on there.
There
and,
you go.
You know, just through sheer numbers, of course, you're going to come up with a few winners that you can use, and that's a great idea.
And not just that, Matt. Just like you went and your buddies, family members, and friends. And you know, if there are 10,000 entries, that's 10,000 times 20 people that are going to go to the website to view their entries and their friends' votes, and they're going to post it on Facebook, links, and do you realize how much synergy there is in something like this?
Absolutely. Okay, I got about a minute left before I have to go, but let's say you've been following what's coming up. What other than the things that you have told me about, what's the big ad that we're going to be looking for this year?
Tough question. All right, let me see. Chevy Grad, Coke Bears. Look for Pepsi Max and their X Factor winner Melanie Amaro singing with Elton John. That should be an interesting one, to say the least. Look for Kia with Adriana Lima and a dream spot. Obviously, sex sells during the Super Bowl, sells even better. Look for our own Richards Group in Dallas's entry Bridgestone commercial, which will have Steve Nash, Troy Aikman, Deion Sanders, and I'm thinking Tim Duncan. So there's some local flavor there. So I'll be looking for that. Don't miss the CareerBuilder.com Chimps and Monkeys. That's usually a winner, so that should be good again this time. E-Trade Baby will be back being the best man at a wedding. And, of course, I think another potential big winner this year will be Volkswagen again. Kind of a bringing back the Volkswagen theme from last year's big winner, which was the Tiny Tot Darth Vader. So Volkswagen is back again with a Star Wars themed commercial called The Dog Strikes Back. So, well, I could go on, but those are some of the top ones. And, of course, the Doritos crashed the Super Bowl. You know, look for that as well.
Okay. Tell me the truth. How long does that E-Trade Baby have left? How many more of these are we going to see?
You know, Matt, interestingly, I think we've got another couple of years, but here's the interesting tidbit about the E-Trade Baby. They've loved it. People seem to love it, so they keep sticking with the E-Trade Baby. And a lot of people say that it's, he's run his course, but it never seems to figure in the top 10, though. It never wins one of the top 10 accolades, but the company still keeps, it's just like GoDaddy.com. Never in the top 10, not since that first time. It's become pretty much passé, and everyone knows exactly what they're going to do. Like this time, they're going to have Jillian Michaels, Danica Patrick, hand painting, a nude model. It's the usual TNA advertising, but never scores in top 10. But they found that it's a formula for success. They're milking it for all they can. Same with the E-Trade Baby.
I guess the important thing with marketing is you remember it.
That's the key. It doesn't. And Bob Parsons, the CEO of GoDaddy.com, proudly says that we are quoted as the benchmark and we are cited as the benchmark of offensive advertising during the Super Bowl, and we're proud of it. So there you go.
Professor Biswas, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I wish I could talk to you much longer. This is it's always something that's fascinated me.
Isn't it?